Now, we have our Connie Kim in the studio, so I'm going to fire right at you, Connie. So did the shutdown of the Kaesong Industrial Complex really lead to the stopping of the North from developing its nuclear weapons program? We now know that it hasn't stopped.
Well, good question, Kanyang, because that exact question was brought up at the Ministry of Unification today, because one of the main reasons Seoul decided to close the complex was because it believed that around 70% of the wages paid to workers at the complex were being funneled into developing North Korea's nuclear and military weapons. And although there is no clear evidence to prove that, the spokesperson said the government believes that stopping the flow of some $100 million going into the regime last year must have hit the regime hard in terms of developing its nuclear weapons.
We don't know if the North's plan was to launch an ICBM on a monthly basis or an annual basis. But the government believes that blocking bulk cash from going into the regime must have put a brake on the projects they were working on.
Some North Korea watchers I spoke to have agreed with this, saying that keeping sanctions on the North and leaving the Kaesong complex closed will in fact push the North to denuclearize in the long term.
Sanctions takes a long time to take effect, so we have to be very patient about the way to see what kind of effect the sanctions will ultimately have on North Korea when it comes to denuclearization. Was really reaching a breaking point. It's a very critical point. Therefore, South Korea had to show the willingness to resort to all available means to apply pressure on North Korea.
Now, Connie, I think we all agree with Mr. Ko here that sanctions take a long time to take effect, but I remember speaking with the North Korean diplomat who defected to South Korea recently, Tae Young-ho, that these sanctions work in a way that they put pressure on the people of North Korea to resort to the black market, exposing them of these influences from the Western world, China and South Korea. Now, what are the prospects of this Kaesong Industrial Complex resuming operations? I know that chances now seem to be very slim.
You're actually right, because the possibility of the Kaesong Industrial Complex reopening appears very slim, especially under the Park Geun-hye administration. Now, the South Korean government's stance at this point is that reopening the complex could stir up controversy and would not resolve concerns about how the money from the complex was used. Now, the two resolutions adopted by the UN Security Council would also be a stumbling block because they urge member states to close branch offices and bank accounts in North Korea. So that's why some say the Security Council would have to pass a new resolution lifting the sanctions if Kaesong were to be reopened. But even more fundamentally, an official from the Unification Ministry said the North would absolutely have to show change in its nuclear weapons program to start talking about even resuming operations at the industrial park. And most importantly at this point, Kim Jong-un says his regime plans to test an intercontinental ballistic missile, which really kills any hope for good news in the inter-Korean front, at least for now, Kanyang.
Right. I mean, we can never be sure of anything when it comes to North Korea. So, we should knock on wood, but we'll be sure to keep a close eye on the latest developments.
I definitely
Thank you,
will.
Connie, for that.
Always my pleasure.